The stars sparkled like diamonds against the black void of space as the diplomatic vessel Harmony glided through the Centauri system. Commander Emily Brooks stood on the bridge, her blue eyes fixed on the main screen. After 15 years of space exploration, humanity was about to make its first contact with alien life. "All systems normal," Commander reported Lieutenant Mike Turner from his station. "We're maintaining our peaceful approach vector." Emily nodded, trying to keep her excitement in check. The Harmony represented the best of human engineering. A sleek, white vessel designed to showcase Earth's peaceful intentions. Its hull bore the United Earth emblem and messages of peace in multiple human languages. "Communications, any response to our greeting signals?" Emily asked, smoothing down her dark blue uniform. "Nothing yet, Commander," replied Communications Officer Betty White. "Wait, I'm picking up something now." Emily's heart raced. This was the moment they'd all been waiting for, but something felt wrong. The incoming signals didn't match any of the expected patterns they'd prepared for. "Multiple ships detected," shouted Scanner Officer Tom Russell. His usually calm voice cracked with alarm. "They're appearing from behind the third moon." Emily's training kicked in. "Show me." The main screen lit up with dozens of angular, predatory-looking vessels emerging from hiding. Their dark hulls absorbed light rather than reflecting it, making them look like holes in space. "They're powering up weapons." Tom's fingers flew across his console. "Design unknown. Nothing like what we expected." "Betty, broadcast our peaceful intentions on all frequencies," Emily ordered. "Shields up. Get me a channel to Earth Command." The alien ships moved with frightening speed, surrounding the Harmony in a perfect sphere formation. A harsh, grating voice cut through their communication system, speaking in perfect English. "Humans, we are the Concordat. Your exploration ends here. Your species will surrender immediately or face extinction." Emily's mind raced. This wasn't first contact. This was an ambush. "How do you know our language?" "We have studied your broadcasts for years. Your civilization is young, primitive, and expansionist. You will be contained." The bridge crew looked to Emily, their faces pale but determined. She straightened her back. "We came in peace, but humanity will not surrender to threats." "Then you will serve as an example." The first shot came without warning. The Harmony shuddered as alien energy weapons slammed into its shields. Red warning lights flashed across every console. "Shields at 60%, shouted Engineering Officer Frank Morris. "They're using some kind of plasma weapon." Emily gripped her command chair. "Evasive maneuvers. Get us out of here." Lieutenant Turner's hands danced across the helm controls. The Harmony twisted and turned, desperately trying to break free from the encirclement. Another hit rocked the ship. "Shields at 30%. We can't take much more." Emily made a split-second decision. Transfer power from weapons to shields and engines. Record everything. "Betty, start transmitting all sensor data back to Earth." The Harmony dove and rolled, its engines straining as Turner pushed them beyond their limits. The alien ships followed, their weapons creating a web of deadly energy around the human vessel. "Commander," Betty called out, "I've got a clear channel to Earth Command. They're receiving our data." Emily knew what she had to do. They couldn't let this intelligence fall into enemy hands. "All hands, prepare for emergency jump. Turner, plot a course through their formation. We'll only get one shot at this." The crew worked with desperate efficiency. Years of training paid off as they prepared for their most dangerous maneuver yet. "Jump coordinates set," Turner announced. "On my mark." Emily watched as two alien ships moved slightly apart. "Now." The Harmony shot forward, its engines blazing. Alien weapons fire scraped their failing shields as they aimed for the gap. For a moment, it seemed like they wouldn't make it. Then they were through, streaking away from the alien formation at maximum speed. The ship groaned under the strain as they pushed the engines beyond safety limits. "We've cleared their weapon range," Tom reported. But they're pursuing. Initiate emergency jump sequence, Emily ordered. Get us back to Earth. They need to know what's coming. The stars blurred around them as the Harmony jumped to safety, carrying with it humanity's first taste of a hostile universe. As the ship streaked through space, Emily Brooks knew one thing for certain. Earth would need more than diplomatic vessels to survive what was coming. The peaceful age of human space exploration had ended. The age of war was about to begin. 3 months after the Harmony incident, Jack Thompson stood before the United Earth Defense Council, his hand steady as he pointed to the holographic display. The tall engineer's normally neat brown hair was messy from countless sleepless nights spent working on his designs. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, "this is Project Titan, our answer to the Concordat threat." The massive warship design rotated slowly in the air. Unlike the smooth, peaceful lines of previous Earth ships, this vessel bristled with weapons and armor. Its dark hull plates were angled to deflect enemy fire. Admiral Karen Mitchell leaned forward in her seat. "You're telling me this ship can stand up to their technology?" "Better." Jack pressed a button, and the hologram zoomed in on the ship's core. "We've learned from the Harmony sensor data. The Concordat thinks we're primitive, but they don't understand human innovation." Lieutenant Marcus Reynolds, the youngest weapons specialist in Earth's fleet, stepped up beside Jack. His excitement was clear as he pointed to various systems. "We've taken their plasma weapons design and improved it. Where their ships fire single bursts, we've created rapid-fire plasma cannons." The council members murmured among themselves. Some looked impressed, others worried. "The cost would be enormous," said one councilman, shaking his head. "We'd need to use half our lunar mining operations." Admiral Mitchell stood up, her gray uniform crisp and authoritative. "The cost of not building it would be higher. We lost the Mars colony last week. 3,000 dead." The room fell silent. Jack switched the display to show the ship's engine design. "We're not just copying their technology," he continued. "We're making it better. The Titan will have our new pulse drive system, faster than anything the Concordat has shown us." Marcus highlighted the weapon systems. "And here's the real surprise. We've developed rotating shield frequencies. Every time they hit us, our shields adapt. The more they attack, the stronger we become." One council member raised her hand. "How long to build it?" 6 months, Jack replied. "We've already started converting the lunar shipyards. We're working in shifts around the clock." 6 months. Another councilman stood up. "The Concordat could wipe us out by then." Admiral Mitchell's voice cut through the growing noise. "They could, but they won't. They're toying with us, testing our defenses. They don't respect us enough to launch a full attack yet. That's their mistake." She walked to the hologram and gestured at the ship. "This isn't just a warship. This is humanity's statement to the galaxy. We will not go quietly. We will not surrender." The council chamber buzzed with intense discussion. Jack and Marcus exchanged nervous glances. Everything depended on this moment. Finally, the council president spoke. "What do you need?" "Everything," Jack said simply. "Every resource, every engineer, every bit of material we can spare. And we need it now." The vote was unanimous. 3 months later, Jack stood in the lunar shipyard's observation room, watching thousands of workers swarming over the Titan's growing frame. The ship was already massive, its skeleton stretching nearly a kilometer in length. Marcus joined him at the window. "Shield generators are ready for installation. We've run every test possible. They work better than we hoped." "Good." Jack took a sip from his coffee cup. "How's the crew selection going?" "Admiral Mitchell's handling it personally. She's picked Captain Robert Hayes to command. Best tactical mind in the fleet." They watched as a huge section of hull plating was lifted into place by construction robots. The dark metal seemed to swallow the light from the work lamps. "The Concordat thinks they know what humans are capable of," Jack said quietly. "They think they've seen our best technology, our best ships." Marcus nodded. "They're in for one hell of a surprise." A message flashed on their screens. Admiral Mitchell wanted them in the main engineering bay. Another problem to solve, another system to improve. As they hurried through the shipyard's corridors, they passed hundreds of determined workers. Everyone knew what was at stake. This wasn't just another ship being built. This was humanity's best hope. The Titan grew day by day, each piece of technology tested and improved countless times. In the darkness of the lunar night, its hull began to take final shape. Soon, very soon, the Concordat would learn that humanity was far more dangerous than they had imagined. And somewhere out there in space, alien forces had no idea what was coming. Captain Robert Hayes walked through the empty halls of the Titan, his footsteps echoing in the massive ship. At 6 feet tall with graying hair at his temples, he carried himself with the confidence of a man who had earned his position through merit rather than politics. "She's almost ready, Captain," said Lisa Anderson, falling into step beside him. The tactical officer's red hair was pulled back in a tight bun, her movements quick and precise. "Final system checks will be done in 48 hours. "Good." Hayes stopped at a viewport, looking at the stars. "How's the crew settling in?" "They're the best Earth has to offer, sir. But they're nervous. Most have never served on a ship this advanced." The elevator took them to the bridge, where Dr. James Wilson was bent over the engineering station. The brilliant scientist barely looked up as they entered, too focused on his work. "The shield modifications are holding," James reported, pushing his glasses up his nose. "We've tripled the power output without losing stability." Hayes nodded, settling into the command chair. It still felt new, unused. "And our young navigator, where's Parker?" As if on cue, Thomas Parker burst onto the bridge, his uniform slightly wrinkled. At 25, he was the youngest bridge officer, but his test scores in tactical navigation were the highest ever recorded. "Sorry, Captain," Thomas said, catching his breath. "I was in the simulator, running those new evasion patterns." Hayes allowed himself a small smile. The kid's enthusiasm was infectious. "Results? Better than expected, sir. The Titan can pull turns that should be impossible for a ship this size. The artificial gravity compensators are amazing." Lisa moved to her tactical station, bringing up the weapons display. "We'll need that speed. Latest intel shows the Concordat has stepped up their attacks on our outer colonies." The bridge crew worked in focused silence, each person testing their systems. They had trained together for months in simulators, but this was different. This was real. "Captain," called out a voice from the doorway. Admiral Mitchell stepped onto the bridge, followed by Jack Thompson and Marcus Reynolds. "How's my ship coming along?" Hayes stood. "Almost ready, Admiral. The crew is learning her quirks." "Good, because we're moving up the timeline." Mitchell's face was grim. "The Concordat hit another colony yesterday. We need the Titan ready for action in 24 hours. The bridge fell silent. James looked up from his station, face pale. "Admiral, we haven't completed all the safety checks." "No choice," Mitchell cut him off. "Either we launch now, or we might not have anything left to defend." Hayes looked around at his crew. They were young, except for Lisa, but they were ready. They had to be. "Engineering to bridge," a voice crackled over the comm. "Primary and secondary pulse drives are online. All power systems green." Thompson stepped forward, checking the readings. "She's as ready as she'll ever be, Captain. We built her tough." "Crew assignments are complete," Lisa reported, checking her tablet. "All stations will be fully staffed within 6 hours." Hayes turned to Mitchell. "Request permission to begin final launch preparations, Admiral." Mitchell nodded. "Granted. And Robert," she paused, looking him in the eye. "Make it count." The next 18 hours were a blur of activity. Crew members rushed through the halls, storing supplies and running last-minute checks. In the weapons bay, Marcus supervised the loading of the plasma torpedo tubes, each warhead more powerful than anything humanity had ever built before. Thomas spent hours in the navigation center, plotting possible escape routes and attack vectors. Lissa drilled her tactical team until they could operate the weapons in their sleep. James hardly left engineering, triple-checking every system, pushing each component to its limits and beyond. The ship hummed with power, like a living thing waiting to be unleashed. Finally, Hayes stood on his bridge, looking at his assembled crew. Young faces mixed with experienced ones, all united in purpose. "This ship represents the best of humanity," he said, his voice carrying across the bridge. "The Concordat thinks they know what we're capable of. They think they've measured our strength." He paused, looking each crew member in the eye. "They're wrong." Lisa smiled from her station. Thomas straightened in his chair. James finally looked up from his displays, a determined set to his jaw. "Prepare for launch," Hayes ordered. "Let's show them what humanity can really do." The mighty engines of the Titan began to power up, their deep rumble echoing through the ship. In the darkness of space, Earth's first true warship prepared to join the fight. The hunt was about to begin. Red warning lights flashed across the Mars colony's main dome. Thousands of civilians rushed to the underground shelters as Concordat ships filled the red sky above them. Colony distress signal confirmed. Lisa Anderson reported from her tactical station on the Titan's bridge. 3 Concordat warships attacking the main settlement. 2 more heading for the mining outposts. Captain Hayes gripped his command chair. "Time to arrival." 4 minutes until we're in weapons range," Thomas Parker answered, his hands dancing across the navigation controls. "The pulse drive is performing better than expected." The Titan streaked through space, its dark hull nearly invisible against the blackness. This wasn't the careful test mission they had planned. This was real combat, with real lives at stake. "All hands, battle stations," Hayes ordered, his voice calm but firm. "This is not a drill. Weapons hot, shields at maximum." The crew responded with practiced efficiency. In engineering, James Wilson watched his power displays carefully. "Shields at full power, Captain. New frequency modulators are online." "They haven't spotted us yet," Lisa reported, smiling. "The stealth systems are working." Hayes leaned forward. "Mr. Parker, bring us in behind the main group. Ms. Anderson, target their lead ship. Let's show them our new plasma cannons." The Titan glided silently through space, approaching the unsuspecting alien vessels. The Concordat ships continued their attack on the colony, their weapons hammering against the settlement's failing shields. In range, Lisa announced. "Weapons locked." Hayes took a deep breath. "Fire." The Titan's main guns roared to life. Streams of enhanced plasma, far more powerful than anything the Concordat had, struck the lead alien ship. Its shields flared bright blue, then collapsed completely. The ship's hull cracked open like an egg. "Direct hit," Lisa shouted. "Enemy vessel disabled." The remaining Concordat ships spun around, finally aware of the threat. Their surprise was obvious as they scrambled to form a defensive position. "They're powering up weapons," Lisa reported. 5 plasma torpedoes incoming." "Evasive maneuvers," Hayes ordered. "Show them what this ship can do, Mr. Parker." Thomas grinned as he pushed the Titan into a series of impossible turns. The massive warship moved like a vessel half its size, dodging most of the incoming fire. The few hits that landed were absorbed by the adaptive shields. "Shields holding at 95%, James reported from engineering. "The frequency adaptation is working. Their weapons are getting less effective with each hit." The Concordat ships spread out, trying to surround the Titan. They had never seen a human ship fight like this before. "They're calling for reinforcements," Lisa said, listening to their communications. "They sound scared, Captain." Hayes allowed himself a small smile. "Let's give them something to be scared about. All weapons, full spread. Target their engines." The Titan's weapons blazed again. This time, all its gun batteries fired at once. The space around the ship lit up with plasma fire. 2 more Concordat ships took heavy damage. their engines going dark. "Sir," Thomas called out. "Two enemy ships breaking off attack. They're retreating." "The last one is still heading for the mining outpost," Lisa reported. "They're charging their main gun." Hayes stood up. "Not today. Mr. Parker, intercept course. Ms. Anderson, give them everything we've got." The Titan surged forward, putting itself between the Concordat ship and the mining outpost. Its weapons fired one final time. The alien vessel's shields failed under the assault, and its hull began to break apart. "Enemy ship disabled," Lisa announced. Cheers broke out across the bridge. "Colony reports all clear," Thomas added. "Minimal damage to the outer domes. No casualties." Hayes watched as the remaining Concordat ships flowed into deep space. Their first battle was over, and humanity had won. "Send word to Earth Command," he ordered. "Mars colony is secure, and tell them." He paused, looking at his proud crew. "Tell them the Titan works better than we hoped." As emergency teams headed to the colony, the crew of the Titan felt a new emotion: pride. They had faced humanity's greatest threat and won. The Concordat had finally met their match. In engineering, James started analyzing the battle data. "Captain, you should see these readings. Every time they hit us, our shields got stronger. We're learning their weapons faster than they can adapt." Hayes nodded. "Good, because this was just the beginning. They'll be back, and next time they'll be ready for us." "Let them come," Lisa said firmly. "We'll be ready too." The Titan moved into a protective orbit around Mars, its dark hull reflecting the red planet's light. Inside, its crew prepared for the battles to come. The age of human defiance had begun. Diana Cooper sat in the Titan's intelligence center, surrounded by screens showing decoded Concordat transmissions. The intelligence officer's eyes were tired from hours of studying alien communication patterns, but she couldn't stop now. Something in the data caught her attention. "Captain Hayes," she called over the ship's comm. "I found their weakness." 10 minutes later, the bridge crew gathered around the main display. Diana pointed to a series of supply routes marked in red. "The Concordat ships need to refuel every 3 days," she explained, brushing her dark hair from her face. "They're using these hidden stations here, and here." She pointed to spots between Jupiter and Saturn. Hayes studied the map carefully. "Their ships are more powerful than we thought they'd be." "Yes, but that power comes at a cost," Diana continued. "Their engines eat through fuel quickly. Without these supply lines, their ships can't operate in our solar system." Engineer David Foster spoke up from his station. "Captain, I think we can use this. I've been working on some modifications to our weapons." Everyone turned to look at the quiet engineer. David rarely spoke up unless he was sure about something. "What kind of modifications?" Hayes asked. "We can tune our plasma cannons to target their fuel storage specifically. One good hit, and..." David made an explosion gesture with his hands. Lisa Anderson smiled from her tactical station. "If we take out their fuel supplies, they'll be trapped here," Hayes finished, "away from their main fleet. Good work, both of you." The captain turned to his crew. "Thomas, plot a course for the nearest supply station. Lisa, I want those weapon modifications ready. James, push the engines as hard as you can. We need to hit them before they realize we've cracked their codes." The Titan moved silently through the outer solar system. Its dark hull blended perfectly with the blackness of space. David worked non-stop in the weapons bay, adjusting each plasma cannon with precise calculations. "Supply station in range," Thomas reported after 2 days of careful stalking. "No Concordat warships detected nearby." Hayes nodded. "Show me." The main screen revealed a hidden station tucked behind one of Saturn's smaller moons. It looked like a massive fuel tank, with docking ports for alien ships. "They've spotted us," Lisa called out. "Station defenses coming online. Hit them now," Hayes ordered, "before they can raise shields." The Titan's modified weapons fired. Brilliant streams of plasma struck the station's fuel tanks. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the entire station erupted in a massive fireball. Direct hit, Lisa shouted. Station destroyed. Multiple Concordat ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel, Diana reported from her station. They're responding to the station's distress call. Hayes smiled. This was exactly what they wanted. Battle stations. Let's show them what else we've learned. 3 Concordat warships appeared, weapons ready. But the Titan was already moving, its engines pushing it into an attack position. New weapon modifications online, David reported from engineering. Plasma cannons recalibrated for ship-to-ship combat. The battle was fierce but quick. The Titan's enhanced weapons tore through the Concordat ship's shields like they weren't even there. David's modifications worked better than anyone had expected. 2 enemy ships disabled, Lisa reported. The 3rd is retreating. Wait. She paused, listening to her headset. They're sending out a distress signal. They're warning other ships to stay away from us. The bridge crew cheered. For the first time, the Concordat was afraid of a human ship. Over the next week, the Titan struck 2 more supply stations. Each attack was more successful than the last. The Concordat's mighty ships were being forced to retreat, their fuel supplies cut off. Message intercepted, Diana announced after their 3rd victory. The Concordat fleet is pulling back to their home systems. They're calling us demons. They say we fight like nothing they've ever seen before. Hayes looked around at his crew. Diana with her intelligence gathering, David with his engineering genius, and everyone else who had made this possible. Send a message to Earth Command, he ordered. Tell them Operation Thunderstrike was a success. The Concordat supply lines in our solar system are destroyed. As the Titan patrolled the newly cleared space, its crew felt a growing sense of confidence. They weren't just fighting back anymore. They were winning. They'll be back, Lisa said quietly. And next time, they'll be desperate. Hayes nodded. Good. Let them come. Humanity is ready for them now. The Titan's dark hull gleamed in Saturn's rings, a silent guardian of human space. The tide of war had finally turned. Emergency alarms blared throughout Earth's orbital defense stations. On the Titan's bridge, Captain Hayes stared at the main screen in disbelief. Hundreds of Concordat ships filled the display, more than they had ever seen before. Full count is in, Lisa Anderson reported, her voice tense. 342 enemy vessels. They're approaching from all directions. Thomas Parker's hands shook slightly at his navigation console. They must have brought their entire fleet. Where are our other ships? Hayes asked, keeping his voice steady for the crew. The Franklin and Washington are defending Mars. The rest are spread across the colonies. Lisa checked her screens again. We're the only defense Earth has, Captain. Hayes stood up, looking at his crew. They had fought dozens of battles together, but nothing like this. Status report. Shields at maximum power, James Wilson called from engineering. All weapons hot. David's latest modifications are ready. Enemy fleet is launching fighters, Diana Cooper reported from her intelligence station. Thousands of them. There, she paused, listening to intercepted communications. They're saying no human ship can stand against these numbers. Hayes smiled grimly. They still don't understand us. Battle stations, everyone. Initiate Operation Thunderstrike. The Titan moved forward to meet the massive alien fleet. Its dark hull seemed to absorb the light from nearby stars, making it look like a hole in space. Enemy ships entering weapons range, Lisa announced. They're powering up all weapons. Let them come, Hayes said calmly. Mr. Parker, attack pattern Delta. Show them why we train harder than anyone else. The Titan surged forward, its engines pushing to maximum power. The massive ship moved like a dancer, weaving between enemy fire as Thomas executed maneuvers that should have been impossible for a ship its size. The first wave of alien fighters reached them. Lisa's hands flew across her tactical console, the Titan's point defense systems destroying dozens of small craft with each burst. "Shield impacts," James shouted, "but the adaptive frequencies are holding. Every hit makes us stronger." The Concordat fleet surrounded them, their weapons filling space with deadly energy. But the Titan kept moving, kept fighting. Each hit it took made its shields stronger. Each attack it dodged showed its superiority. Multiple direct hits on enemy capital ships, Lisa reported. David's weapon modifications are working perfectly. Their shields can't handle our improved plasma cannons. Explosions lit up space around them as Concordat ships began to fall. But there were so many more. "Hull breach on Deck 7. James called out. "Emergency force fields holding." Hayes gripped his chair as the ship shook. "Diana, what are they saying now?" Diana listened to her headset, her eyes widening. "Sir, some of their ships are arguing with their command. They're questioning why they're throwing away ships against us." "Because they're desperate," Hayes answered. "And desperate enemies make mistakes. Lisa, target their command ship. All weapons." The Titan turned, bringing its main guns to bear on the largest enemy vessel. Space lit up as every weapon on the human ship fired at once. The Concordat command ship's shields failed under the assault. Its hull cracked, then exploded in a massive fireball. "Enemy fleet is in chaos," Diana shouted. "Their command structure is breaking down. Different ships are giving different orders." Hayes saw their chance. "All power to weapons. Target their supporting vessels. Show them why you don't corner humanity." The Titan struck again and again, each shot more devastating than the last. Without central command, the alien fleet began to break apart. Some ships retreated, others fought on, but their coordination was gone. After hours of intense combat, space around Earth grew quiet again. The remains of dozens of Concordat ships drifted in orbit, while the survivors fled at maximum speed. "Damage report," Hayes called out, finally allowing himself to sit down. "Multiple hull breaches, shields at 15%, weapon systems strained but operational," James reported. "But we're still in the fight, Captain." "Enemy fleet is in full retreat," Lisa added, her voice tired but proud. They're saying no one told them humans could fight like this." Hayes looked at his exhausted but triumphant crew. They had done the impossible today. One ship against hundreds. And they had won. "Send word to Earth Command," he ordered. "Tell them Earth is safe. And tell them." He paused, looking at the debris field that had once been the mighty Concordat fleet. "Tell them humanity sends its regards." The Titan hung in space above Earth, its battle-scarred hull a testament to human determination. They had faced extinction and emerged victorious. The legend of the ship that stood alone against an alien armada would be told for generations to come. 1 month after the Great Battle of Earth, Captain Hayes stood in the Titan's newly repaired bridge. Through the main viewport, he could see dozens of alien ships approaching. But this time, they came in peace. Receiving transmission from the Concordat diplomatic vessel, Diana Cooper announced from her station, "They're ready to begin peace talks." The war that had started with an ambush of the Harmony now ended with the Concordat seeking peace. The Titan's bridge crew watched as alien representatives boarded their ship. "Welcome aboard," Hayes said to the tall, blue-skinned Concordat leader. The alien looked around the bridge with obvious respect and fear. "Your ship," the alien spoke in careful English. "It has changed everything. Never in our history has one vessel defeated so many." Lisa Anderson stood at her tactical station, watching the aliens carefully. The Concordat leader turned to her and bowed slightly. "Your weapons officer," he said. "We study the records. You never missed a critical shot." Lisa nodded, trying to hide her pride. "The Titan is a good ship." "More than good," another alien spoke up. "It is legendary now. Other species are asking about the humans who built such a vessel." Thomas Parker couldn't help grinning at his navigation console. Their ship had become famous across the galaxy. The peace conference lasted 3 days. In the end, the Concordat agreed to recognize human space and establish peaceful trade. But more importantly, other alien civilizations began reaching out to Earth. Another diplomatic request. Diana reported a week later. The Centauri Alliance wants to form a military partnership. They're impressed by our ship design. The Orion Confederation, too, James Wilson added from engineering. They want to learn about our shield technology. They're offering to trade their advanced medical knowledge. David Foster looked up from his work on the weapons systems, and the Pleiades group wants to know how we modify the plasma cannons. They're offering mining rights in their asteroid fields. Hayes watched as more alien ships arrived each day. The Titan had not just won a war. It had earned humanity a place among the stars. Earth Command is expanding the shipyards, Lisa reported one morning. They're building 5 more ships like the Titan. Admiral Mitchell wants you to help train their captains. Hayes nodded. What about our crew? They're promoting us all. Lisa smiled. But they want us to stay together on the Titan. We work too well as a team to split up. In the months that followed, the Titan became Earth's flagship. Its crew trained others, shared their experiences, and helped build humanity's new fleet. But they also kept exploring, showing the flag across the galaxy. It's strange, Thomas said one quiet evening shift. The Concordat thought they were containing a primitive species. Instead, they forced us to become stronger than anyone expected. Diana nodded at her station. I'm still decoding messages from various alien races. They all want to know how humans got so advanced so quickly. We didn't advance quickly, Hayes replied. We advanced exactly when we needed to. That's what humans do best. The bridge crew fell silent, thinking about how far they had come. From a single ambushed diplomatic vessel to a respected power in the galaxy. 1 year after the Great Battle, the Titan led a fleet of Earth ships on a parade through the solar system. New human vessels flew alongside allied alien ships, their crews working together and learning from each other. Message from Admiral Mitchell, Diana called out. The first joint human-alien research station is complete. They want us to attend the opening ceremony. Hayes looked at his crew. Lisa at tactical, Thomas at navigation, James in engineering, David with his weapons, and Diana at communications. They had started as Earth's last defense. Now they were its greatest ambassadors. Plot a course, Mr. Parker, Hayes ordered. Let's show our new friends what humanity can do when we work together. The Titan turned gracefully, its dark hull now bearing the scars of battle like badges of honor. As they moved toward their next mission, Hayes thought about how one ship had changed the course of human history. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Never underestimate humanity. When pushed, humans don't just survive. They excel. And somewhere in deep space, the legend of the Titan grew, told and retold across 1,000 worlds. The story of one ship that stood against an armada and showed the galaxy that humanity had arrived. The stars beckoned, and this time, humanity moved forward not in fear, but in strength.